My wildcard is active for FPL Gameweek 15 and I'm very excited to show you how I'm going to be lining up. Help me get this one to 1,000 likes and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. Starting off with how my Game Week 14 has gone then. I'm on 61 points, but I did take a -4 hit. I'm recording this on Thursday morning, so still waiting to see how Bruno Fernandes does against West Ham at home. Just one clean sheet from the defence from Chris Richards, who also scooped a bonus point, and DEFCON. What a player he's been for me this season. Van Dijk also got DEFCON, and I benched Estev with DEFCON on my bench as well. Into the midfield, Semenyo, I think that's now his 6th consecutive blank. He did get DEFCON though for a 4-pointer. Saka was a substitute, but he did score, as was Timber in that game. My new recruits, Minte and Rice, both blanked, which does hurt with the -4. Rice actually went off injured as well, so that's a concern. Nothing from Mateta either, and Haaland captain, that was the big one. A lot of managers looking at Saka or Fernandes this week. I stuck with Haaland, the boring pick, and he did deliver. I was looking at Wildcard for Game Week 14 to get Foden, but I wanted to give the likes of Semenyo one more week, Van Dijk one more week, Chris Richards. I think I'd have maybe been a little bit up on wildcard, but I feel like I've got more information now for a Game Week 15 wildcard, so I'm in a good place. Let's have a look at the form versus fixture charts then going into Game Week 15. Starting with the form charts, and in terms of player form, the team that is out in front at the moment is Aston Villa. They've had some really big results in recent games, probably gone under the radar a little bit, their assets. But you can kind of see why, given the fact that maybe in terms of their results, it's hard to know exactly where the goals are coming from. And this is a little bit of a conundrum for me now on wildcard. But they won 4-0 at home to Bournemouth. Then they won 2-1 away at Leeds. Then they won 1-0 at home to Wolves, and then 4-3 away at Brighton. So some pretty good form from them. They are out in front by some margin. Then in second, we've got Manchester City. Those 5 goals against Fulham definitely helps. I think in the last 5 game weeks they've scored 15 goals, which is very impressive. We've also got Arsenal and Newcastle up there. Nottingham Forest in 5th place. At the bottom, it's Wolves. West Ham are down there as well, as are Burnley, Bournemouth and Liverpool getting dragged into it. When we look at the fixture charts, this is taken from Fantasy Football Hub, filtered by attack for the next 4 game weeks. It's Manchester City out on top. They've got Sunderland at home and West Ham at home in the next 4 game weeks, with trips to Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Liverpool, Arsenal, Fulham are all up there as well, following closely behind, with Newcastle, Bournemouth not far behind either. At the opposite end of the charts, we see Nottingham Forest at the bottom, Wolves are down there, Everton are down there, Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. So Aston Villa are a bit of a conundrum in terms of form versus fixtures at the moment. When you combine it though, they are currently in the top 3, but they do face Arsenal this week. City are on top. Arsenal or Aston Villa are actually joint second, with Newcastle third. No other teams really coming close to them there. There is a bit of a gap then to the likes of Fulham, Brentford, Brighton. At the opposite end, Wolves don't invest in them. West Ham, Burnley, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. Now, this is kind of significant for me playing wildcard. I've got a Liverpool defender, I've got a Spurs defender, I've got a triple up on I did have a triple up on Crystal Palace, I've got a double up, I've got a double up on Bournemouth as well. They're all down there. This is the trigger point for wildcard. Obviously, I kind of wanted to get to the 5 free transfer boost for Game Week 16, but I've only got 1 free transfer anyway, so I'm not losing anything by playing the wildcard this week. Kind of the threshold for playing the wildcard gets smaller each week with the amount of game weeks remaining. I've still got the bench boost as well, so that's why I've hit the button. Let's have a look at the wildcard team then. The thing that I'm struggling with is my team value is only about 102 million. I definitely wanted to triple up on Man City. Haaland isn't enough, so I am now tripling up on City assets ahead of Sunderland at home. Foden comes in. I could not afford the straight swap from Semenyo to Foden with my free transfer for this week anyway, so it's Semenyo out, Foden in on the wildcard. Sunderland at home, a great entry point. Braces in back-to-back games, and I've gone with Nico O'Reilly as my City defender, kind of based on funds. You know, the other options are more expensive. I think O'Reilly's got the best output. Yes, there could be rotation, but you get that with any City player. I'm also going to be sticking up with the triple up on Arsenal. Obviously, Saka and Timber have had their rest now, so that's good news in terms of backing them going forward. I would have liked to have Declan Rice in this side, but he was substituted with injury at the end of that game on Wednesday evening, that 2-0 win against Brentford. So I have gone with Raya in goal. I don't know if I love Raya as my third Arsenal player, but I've had no luck with goalkeepers all season, so I feel like having Raya in there as a premium set and forget, especially when there's rotation and injuries in the Arsenal defence and a lot of attacking options. I feel like Raya's probably a good pick, especially over this festive period where you do see more rotation. If we did get good news on Rice's availability for game week 15, then I could pivot to Robert Sanchez. That's something I am debating, but I think I am happy with this Arsenal triple up. But being doubled up on the Arsenal defence away at Aston Villa probably isn't the best entry point given how well Aston Villa are playing at the moment. I've actually not got any Aston Villa players, even though they're doing very well on the form versus fixture charts. I just don't really trust the Villa defence at the moment. They have kept 5 clean sheets this season, but we saw Martinez not involved in the last game. I kind of didn't want to go with Matty Cash. I don't love him as an FPL pick. Morgan Rogers is the attacker that I'd go for, but I couldn't quite squeeze him in. He does offer that 90 minutes in every game. I may regret not going for him, especially when it comes to West Ham away in game week 16. But I just couldn't justify it in the Wildcard team. I just haven't got enough trust in them as a whole, as a team. I have doubled up on Newcastle, though, who were 4th in the form versus fixture charts. I've gone with Thiaw as my defensive pick, just because he's been sensational this season. He's got 2 goals. He's picked up DEFCON in kind of half of his appearances. I think he's got the routes to points there. I think the Newcastle defence is going to do very well in the next few games, even with Pope out. So he's in. In terms of attackers, it's really hard. Like, I looked at Voltemade, but Vissa is probably going to be available soon, so that develops competition. I'm actually looking at Bruno G because I think he's a player who, in recent games, he's just had his rest against Spurs, came on and scored, so that just shows how crucial he is for the team. He's got 4 goals and 4 assists this season. He's hit DEFCON on 2 occasions, but he's narrowly missed out on other occasions. He is a player that plays 90 minutes week in, week out. So he's in. He comes in at a nice price point as well. It was hard in terms of picking the rest of the attackers because I have been a bit stuck in terms of funds and exactly what I can afford. One player I had to find a way to get, though, was Brentford's Thiago. So he comes in as the second forward. Obviously, he was benched last time out after picking up a little bit of a knock. Spurs away this week. He's just been sensational, though, this season. I think only Haaland's got more goals than him. He's scored 11 goals. So he's another player that I really needed in ASAP. So he comes into the side as well. I think I'm sticking with a 3-5-2 formation. At the moment, Bruno Fernandes is in. 9 million is a tricky price point, but I do like Manchester United. The Manchester United fan in me wanted a Manchester United player. You look at the next 3 game weeks, West Ham at home, Wolves away, Bournemouth at home. I can't go without a United attacker in there. And, Fernandes, 2 goals, 5 assists this season, set pieces, penalties. Burmo's going to be off to AFCON soon. I have got half an eye on Mateus Cunha. Obviously, we haven't seen the performance in game week 14 yet from them, but if Cunha had a good game, I could make a saving there, which would free up funds elsewhere in the squad. So that's on my mind a little bit, but Bruno is pretty much locked. In terms of my 7th attacker, it's at the moment, I think I'm going to go with Elliot Anderson at Nottingham Forest, who has 1 goal, 2 assists this season, has taken some penalties, is involved in some set pieces, is an absolute DEFCON monster as far as midfielders go. He's not the most exciting pick at all, but he's 5.4 million. That was the motivation. There's not really anyone else I can afford, unless I downgrade Bruno Fernandes or I downgrade Raya. that's kind of the price bracket I was looking in. So he is in, and I've gone with Croupy as the 8th attacker because I still need to play my bench boost. The trouble is 0.4 million more expensive than Mark Yu, which does again limit your choices elsewhere in the squad. Whether that is worth it on bench boost or not, I'm a little bit on the fence, but he did get the start against Everton at home. So that's something I've got to bear in mind. 4 goals this season. You can always back him to deliver even from the bench. So I think it is money worth spending just about on the bench boost, but it is borderline. I'll be honest, and it could be that I regret down the line using that 0.4 million there. But I am planning on playing the bench boost. I've looked at game week 18 as a possible time to play it because I think, again, given the lack of funds, I think Dubravka's got to be my backup goalkeeper. I'm doubling down and keeping Estev as my 5th defender. They play Everton at home in game week 18, which is the what should be the Boxing Day round of fixtures, but I think Boxing Day falls on the Friday, so most of the fixtures are on Saturday, the 27th of December. And I think there is a little bit of a gap kind of in between games. So I don't think rotation would be too bad for that one because the game week 17 falls the following Saturday. So I think it is going to be a double up with Dubravka and Estev for that fixture. Croupy plays Brentford away in that fixture, in that game week, which I think is okay. And I think for my 4th defender, I'm going to stick with Chris Richards. I've had him since the start of the season and he's been so solid for me. He plays Spurs at home in game week 18, which I don't think is a bad fixture. I probably will have him as my kind of solid first sub for the next few game weeks. I don't think he'll get a start in 15 or 16, which is Fulham away and City at home. But then game week 17, I can play him against Leeds away, potentially, because Theo has got Chelsea at home that week. Then I can have him on my bench boost in game week 18 with Spurs at home, which, could be a tough fixture, but, you're always kind of looking at a base of 4 points from him in any game. Like a harder fixture, he should get DEFCON. So I think that's where I'm going to be at in terms of my wildcard team. There's a few things to lock in. I will firm things up, certainly after the Manchester United game tonight. When it comes to the actual selection then for game week 15, it is going to be Richard's first sub. I'm also going to have on my bench Croupy Jr., Estev and Dubravka. Captaincy, it's got to be Haaland, hasn't it, at home to Sunderland. I'm really excited to see how this Triple City fares for me. I feel like I've held on to the wild card for so long, but it feels like I'm in a position of strength now being able to play it this week, and I'm excited to really make some inroads and build up my rank in the next few game weeks with this wild card active and then having that bench boost in play as well. Let me know in the comments then what you think to my wildcard team. Get your dilemmas in as well for the game week 15 deadline, which comes on Saturday, 11 AM UK time. Thank you for watching.